back to River Funsies. On this episode, we're going to talk about a tuna trip way out in the Gulf that was booked in December with Deep Sea headquarters in Port Aransas, Texas. And on this trip, we showed up the day before just to get booked, make sure we got our ticket, and stay up all night and do a little fishing around the docks. Just because it was going to be a 12-hour trip out, we wanted to sleep the majority of the way and be fresh and awake and able to fish all night because it was a 12-hour fishing trip. These are the bunks that were available for us in the boat during the trip. And this is pretty much what 12 hours of the trip looked like. 12 hours out, 12 hours of fishing, 12 hours back in. And the bunks were sturdy, and you were certainly able to not easily get thrown out of them because of all the rails. And there was a pad that was provided. You just needed to bring a pillow and a sleeping bag. Also on board was a microwave, a bathroom, and plenty of room for ice chests and stuff like that. On the way out, they did do some trawl fishing. Nothing was landed, but there was some active fishing heading out to the spot where all the fish were going to be. So 12 hours later, we came up on the oil rig complex. There was 3 different rigs, and it was, I guess, 8,000 feet deep is where we were fishing, and it was 180 miles off the coast. And when we first arrived, we all drew numbers and did some trawl fishing, and every time a fish hit, if it was your number, you'd take your turn and reel it in. And the deckhands were there on standby to land the fish for you. And once the sun started to go down, the fishing switched from trawling to drift fishing. The captain would pull up next to the oil rigs, and we would fish off the side of the boat, and the boat would just drift past the oil rigs slowly. And once they had drifted past, they would pull the boat around and do it again. And if things got slow, they would pull off to another of the 3 rigs in this complex out there in the Gulf. And there was 2 deckhands that worked nonstop. They worked very hard. They landed the fish, made sure nobody was tangled up, and did an excellent job. And there was really 3 types of fishing when they were doing the drift fishing next to the rigs. Either A, it was jigging with a 10-ounce lure up and down, waiting for something to strike. And usually you'd wait for either 30 seconds to a minute to let it drop straight down and then start jigging. There was people using some very big topwater lures that looked like flying fish. And the other way was using chunks of bait that was just freelining with the current and letting it drift out. Everybody was having success with all 3 ways.
Come on, let's get it.
It was just more of what you preferred. And the fish were, I've never fished for tuna before. It's a very, very strong fish. And primarily the 2 types of fish that we were pulling in were yellowfin tuna, and those were, I would say, between 10 to 70 pounds, and blackfin tuna. There was probably 100 blackfin tuna caught, and the action varied. I would say for the most part, people were pulling in fish throughout the course of the night. And, it was 12 hours of constant fishing, except for the few times that we would take about 30 minutes to get to another of the platforms to fish nearby. It was steady action, and, I think for this trip it was fortunate that only a few people got sort of sick. Nobody got so sick that they were incapacitated, but a few people did lose their lunch. But they powered through it and were able to have a good time. There's the yellowfin tuna brought up on the deck, and I guess there's some sort of tradition about if it's the first yellowfin tuna that you've ever caught, that it is customary to eat the still beating heart of the tuna. And here we go. Tasting like blood, from what I understand.
Stick it in your mouth.
And some of the other things that were used for bait were the jigs, live squid, and different cut bait. So 12 hours out, 12 hours of fishing, and 12 hours back in. And I would say overall the trip was excellent. You want to take your Dramamine. If you're not used to being on a boat for that long, be sure to take your medicine. Eat a lot of foods that are going to sit well with your stomach in those kind of situations. Crackers, peanut butter jelly sandwiches. But whatever you do, do not take a banana. And if you ask why bananas aren't allowed on a fishing boat, you'll just be screamed at by your friends and other fishermen. So no bananas. And once you get back to the dock, they stack them all up for you to take a picture. And I did notice in the picture that we did get one skipjack tuna out of all the other ones, but everything else was yellowfin or blackfin, and that was it. And did catch a 71-pound yellowfin tuna right there on site. They will clean the fish for you for a price and debone the fish for you to take home and then package however you like. Had a whole ice chest full of fish to bring home, and this is one of the chunks of meat. Tuna steak up close, fresh cooked, eaten raw, fresh off the boat. It was excellent fish. So excellent time, great crew. I highly recommend it if you want to have an adventure, a 36-hour safari with the deep sea headquarters. I can't recommend enough, but they tell you straight up, if you get seasick, this is not the trip for you. So please like, share, and subscribe, and have a good one.